Over the next 30 minutes, we will focus on the topic Diamond Open Access Technologies and Quality. And for this session, we have prepared a video and two poster presentations. You can also visit all poster presentation in the poster exhibition here in the conference building downstairs and in the room before you enter the Alfred Hessel Hall. And of course, all poster presenters will be very happy to discuss their work during the conference. Please get in touch with them. A few words about the poster presentation format here. Each poster will be introduced by a poster pitch. During this session, we use a digital version of the poster displayed here at the wall. And your pitch should not be longer than around about 7 minutes, followed by a few minutes for question. So that we have 10 minutes for each poster presentations. Many of the posters contain very small fonts. So it would be great if you could move to the front so that you can make sure that you can read everything which is on the poster. Come a bit closer. I'm a very friendly guy. And this said, we can switch to the first presentation. Unfortunately, Carlos Norberto Ortiz and Sergio Santamaria can't be here today, but I will introduce them with a short CV. Carlos Norberto Ortiz has a master's degree in university teaching from the University of Buenos Aires, and he is editor from the University of Buenos Aires, researcher at the Institute of Higher Educational Research, and head of the editorial quality management sector at the Argentine Center for Scientific and Technological Information. Sergio Santamaria is librarian, and he holds a diploma in online scientific journal, and he is librarian at the Faculty of Law and Social Science in the National University of José Paz in Buenos Aires. And they provided us a video.
Latin America is a powerhouse of ideas, a dynamo of discovery largely fueled by its robust public university systems. Consider Argentina. Its public higher education system alone has produced 3 of the 5 Nobel Prize winners from the entire region. And here's the crucial part. By law, the groundbreaking knowledge generated in these state-funded institutions must be published in open access. In essence, we have been pioneering Diamond Open Access, making research free for both readers and authors, long before the hype. Our Diamond Open Access model is a triumph of community. It's built on collectively developed tools like the Open Journal Systems, OJS, and sustained by networks of dedicated academics and researchers. But this sovereign system has a weakness: the lack of globally recognized persistent identifiers. As Lautaro Matas, executive director of LA Referencia, points out, a staggering reality holds us back. Only 20% of objects in our open access repositories have a DOI. This isn't a question of quality. For many, it's a question of cost, and for others are economic sanctions. The solution: many are forced to deposit their work on third-party platforms like Zenodo or Figshare, just to get that crucial DOI. And here, we see the cycle of academic extractivism in action. To be seen, we must give up our work. Our region's research becomes an asset in infrastructures governed elsewhere, undermining the very sovereignty our Diamond model was built upon. The result? An invisibility crisis. As a recent 2024 feature in Science magazine titled "Breaking the Glass" highlighted, Latin America is a global pioneer in nonprofit publishing, yet its contributions remain largely invisible on the world stage. Respected platforms like Cielo and Rhetoric, hosting thousands of journals, often fall outside the mainstream systems that measure academic influence. This isn't accidental. It's a structural flaw. The current PID ecosystem built on commercial intents and centralized models, does not evolve with the Internet's distributed, resilient nature. It's a single point of failure for the memory of our science. How do we solve this? How do we build a system that ensures both global visibility and regional sovereignty? A system that is not just persistent but truly resilient. The answer lies not in reinventing the wheel, but in weaving a new, stronger fabric from the innovative threads we already possess. Across our region, the seeds of this solution are already growing. Innovations like the ARC CII-CYT identifier in Argentina and other ARC installations provide a proven, decentralized alternative to costly, centralized systems.
Okay, thanks to the authors in absence. We will come to the first poster presentation, live and direct in person. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce two lovely colleagues, Sarah Bösendorfer and Karl Haie. They will present a poster called Open Source Tools for Single Source Publishing Workflows with OJS. Sarah Bösendorfer has been working for the project OSAPS Demo at the University Erlangen-Nuremberg since January 24, and she holds a bachelor's degree in book science and philosophy. And Karl has been working at the SUB Göttingen since April, at the moment also on the Craft Open Access project, but mainly in the DOA production project. He's currently completing his doctorate at the Institute for Migration Research and Intercultural Studies in Osnabrück. Nice to have you here. The floor is yours.
OSAPS stands for Open Source Academic Publishing Suite. It is an open source software for the production of digital book formats such as PDF, HTML, XML, and EPUB. The target user group of the software are medium-sized and academic publishers and publication services, such as university publishers and Diamond Open Access journals. The current OSAPS Demo project is a collaboration between SciFlow and the University Library Erlangen-Nuremberg. Our current project goals are setting up an online reader, increasing the accessibility of documents, and the addition of digital output formats, chats and bits. The production workflow with OSAPS is as follows. The first step of the workflow is importing the Word document into the publishing suite. If necessary, the user can edit the manuscript directly in the editor. In the next step, the user has to select the appropriate publishing template and desired output format. Lastly, the finished document is exported from the software. At least you can upload the exported product at publication platforms, e.g. OJS, OMP, or DSpace. The development of OSAPS is project-based. We, the University Library of Erlangen-Nuremberg, will complete the current project at the end of the year, and Göttingen State and University Library will continue development with DOA production.
Thank you. And I'm going to say a few words on the current project of DOA Produktion. It's a cooperation between the SUB Göttingen, SciFlow, the company that develops SciFlow and OSAPS, and the Open Access Journal Movements, which I'm part of as well. And it's funded by Niedersachsen Open, that's the Open Access Publication Fund of the state of Lower Saxony. And there's 4 key areas of development that is developed as part of the project. Concerning the import, the reference management, the export function, and the templates. With regard to import, at the moment, during the import process, the headings, images, tables, and formulas are recognized, and they can then be edited further in the editor. And under development at the moment is an improved recognition of the abstract and keyword sections. At the moment, they have to be labeled manually. But more importantly, author names and affiliations, also with connection to identifiers like ORCID and ROR, and references, which is its own development goal. in the sense that at the moment references in manuscripts, well, usually references are provided as plain text. And that, as probably you all know, complicates the identification and the provision or conversion as open citations in documents. And it also prohibits the generation of JATS XML, of valid JATS XML. So at the moment, the idea is to, or under development, is to use AI-supported recognition of plain text references in manuscripts so that they can be processed more easily in the editor and during the export steps. Concerning export, there will be a closer integration of OSRPS with OJS. And for the moment, this means that there will be an export function of OJS native XML files to import them into OJS so that we can skip the contribution, like the quick submit step, and then add everything in one go through the native XML file, including gullies and metadata and so on. And lastly, concerning templates, this is where the movements journal comes in. We're developing another template for us, but which will then be able to be used by other journals. And also, of course, it's customizable and configurable to extend the template database available to all users in OS apps. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Yes, please stay here. Thank you very much for the presentation of this really fantastic tool. Are there any questions or comments or thoughts on that? Yes, Toby, please.
Hi there, Toby Steiner. Those of you who know me know that I have to ask this question, what about books?
We have a monograph template, but it is basic for mostly text-based monographine. We have a formal editor, but it's difficult if it is not perfectly formatted in the Word manuscript. So you can do monographs, but you have maybe difficulties.
Thanks. There are a few similar projects, like you probably know, PKP, for example, is building their own workflow for XML. Have you done some cooperation with some of the other projects, or do you see possibilities, or how do you see how could we do cooperation between projects like this to move towards like a single solution that works for all?
My understanding is that SciFlow is in touch with PKP concerning the integration of OS apps into OJS. The current state, I'm not, I don't know what their current state of discussion is. I don't know if you, anything more, anyone in the audience?
Yes, there is a cooperation between SciFlow and PKP. They begin in October with the integration of OSAPS editor in OJS.
Thank you. I have a sort of specific question. I know that OSRPS is an open source product, right? And SciFlow, the company who's developing this together with you, has also a commercial version of this OSRPS. So when we talk about cooperation between PKP and SciFlow, is it a cooperation that focuses on OSRPS, or is it also, well, a bit blurred to take it like this?
No, the cooperation is focused on OSRPS.
Okay, if there is no other question so far, we can move to the next poster. Thank you so much, Sarah and Toby. Yes, The next poster from Vladislav Yastrevo. It's a great pleasure to introduce you. Thank you for coming. You are co-founder and technical editor of the journal Theoretical Computational and Applied Mechanics, a very difficult title of your journal. And this is hosted by Episciences.org in France. And you are research scientists at Mines, Paris, and the French National Center for Scientific Research in Versailles, France. Your poster is titled AI-Powered Copy Editor for Diamond Open Access Journal Workflows. Nice to have you here. Welcome. Also a laser pointer here.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very happy to be in Göttingen. It's my first conference about Diamond Open Access. Thank you very much for your presentation. Indeed, I'm a research scientist. It's my first occupation, and in spare time, I take care of JTCM, Journal of Theoretical Computational and Applied Mechanics. I agree with you. It's not a good name for the journal, but it was community decision, and it's everything like this in our journal. It's community-driven. The journal exists for 5 years already, and we are 6 technical editors. 5 of us are scientists as primary occupation, and we take care of the journal, trying to grow it and make it work smoothly. So a few words about our journal. Of course, it's Diamond Open Access Journal, and we try to pursue open science by publishing peer reviews in open access, of course, with DOI identifiers. We also have a data editor who takes care of, who help authors to share code and data in a proper way. And one of the main occupations of technical editors is to ensure very high quality copy editing. And this task takes a lot of our time, like 10 to 20 hours per article. Because we try to target very high quality of copy editing, which exists nowhere in commercial publishers. And since we set the bar too high, it takes too much time, and we can lower the bar. That's why, in order to help us, we developed, since 1 year, we have been developing an AI copy editor tool that's based on large language models and agentic infrastructure. So what it can do? Actually, our AI copy editor now can almost fully replace us humans in this task, because this is truly technical work, but it requires a lot of attention. That's why we take so much time. So what it can do, actually, it can adapt. For the moment, by the way, it exists only for LaTeX and BibTeX frameworks sources. It doesn't work for the Microsoft Word yet. And since our community is mainly about engineering, mathematics, applied mathematics, so there are a lot of equations. We need to post-treat them very carefully. So it takes care of equations. It formats all the tables in the layout that we prescribe in our journals. But it also, of course, it checks grammar, spelling, references, and so on. And in the end, it also provides us with a document with all the changes it made for the article, and also it provides with a clean, ready-to-publish article in the final stage. The system is fully autonomous, but it needs a human operator just to press the button. Okay, go ahead, like this. What are the benefits? Well, the main one, it works autonomously for 5-10 minutes, and for 5-10 minutes it can make a paper of 50 pages approximately, and the cost for 50 pages copy editing, high quality copy editing with a lot of rules, it's below 10 euro cents. I repeat, the price of the copy editing for 50 pages is less than 10 euro cents. So it's almost for free. Where the price goes from, because we use API interference, and it's not free. So but nevertheless, there are some bottlenecks. Because the first thing, we don't handle Microsoft Word documents. However, with the help maybe of the previous presentation, or what was the name, OS/APS, it could be made possible. The second bottleneck, for high quality paper, we need to ensure high quality of figures. And this tool can take care of figures, even though it reviews all the figures and it can comment the figures are not consistent, not coherent, but it cannot improve them. If you are a journal and you want to use this tool, the only thing you need to provide this tool with a detailed instruction of all the layout you want to have in your journal, all rules for the equations, reference, and so on, and the main packages that you use, and that's it. And in perspective, what's the idea behind this project? We created this tool for our journal, but it would be great if you could share this with the entire Diamond Open Access community. The next step that we plan to implement is to create a SAS on cloud solution that people could use it easily, because to set up all the APIs is not that easy. And the cloud platform would be much easier to use. And that's it, the idea behind this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood what is the output of this collaboration. Okay, if it's just XML or PDF or more than one. And also, I don't understand if this tool is available, I don't know, free on GitHub or some public platform.
Yes, thank you for your question. The input is a LaTeX file with figures and BibTeX for the bibliography. I forgot to mention, actually, this tool also takes care of all the bibliographical entries. So it verifies all DOI, all names, all authors and title, and so on. And also we search for the open access version of the paper if it's available using unpaywall. And for the second question, it's stored on GitHub, but for the moment it's not yet available as open source. We created a special license so that it will be available for the Diamond Open Access community, but not for commercial publishers. But for the moment it's in development. We have not yet shared with the community. Because as I mentioned, to use it, it's not that straightforward. It's tricky even for people who knows how to work with the computer. It's not easy to set all the APIs that we need to use it and to install the infrastructure. That's why the plan is to deploy it on the cloud, on the online platform, so that people could easily use it without setting API and all the stuff.
Hi, I'm sorry, maybe I missed this, but how do the users provide the specific rules for reference and citation and that stuff in like plain text, or how does it work?
The authors, you mean? Mm-hmm. Yes, for the moment we created a template in which the journals need to provide what kind of plain English, British or American you need to enforce, for example. What kind of punctuation you need to use for Latin words. What kind of type of references that you want to use. Author, year, number, whatever. Or maybe it's not the... Yes, like a plain text. Well, we transform it to JSON, but originally it's a plain text. Just handwritten, not handwritten, but like plain text instructions in a human language, right? In English or in any language. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, one more question and then we have to...
Thank you. I think it's very inspiring. I asked myself, well, if you prepared the article by your copy editor, do we have a kind of quality assurance in the end, just having a reviewer just checking, cross-checking whether the editor really works right? Because otherwise you just rely on the machine, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much for this question. Actually, there is always a human in the loop there. It's too small, but you see the human somewhere, an icon of the human in the end. So there is there's a human. There is a human check in the end, and also this tool provides you with a PDF document where it highlights all the changes it made to the document. For example, it changed the article. It shows that there's a removed article, a new one appears. And actually, the instructions are enforced so that it preserves all the language, all the punctuation, and so on, what is tolerable in English. So the author's voice is preserved. That's the essential instruction.
Great, thank you so much. Yes. Amazing what we can do with AI today. Really. We come to the next slot, Diamond Open Access Technologies and Quality. And what should I say to Isabella and Daniel, Isabella Meinecke and Daniel Beuke, two colleagues and very busy also in the Craft Open Access project. They present the first poster in this slot, the DINI Certificate for Open Access Publication Services. Isabella Meinecke is head of Publication Services in Hamburg at the University Press and deputy head of the main department, Digital Services, also at the Hamburg State and University Library. And Daniel Beuke is deputy head of the group Electronic Publishing at the Göttingen State and University Library, and is today also busy with the microphone. So that here he is. Okay, a warm welcome to Isabella and Daniel. The floor is yours.
So considering the font size, you know, we need 2 persons. Okay?
Warte.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready, set. Okay, as you can see, the title of our poster is the DINI Certificate for Open Access Publication Services. A lot of questions.
Okay, but please explain the audience what is DINI, please.
Okay, so DINI is the German Initiative for Network Information, and it's an organization that fosters open research, information infrastructures in quite many ways.
Okay, and what kind of certificate is it?
Well, as you can see, the DINI certificate is for open access publication services, and it is an essential instrument for standardization of open access publication services.
Okay, and how is that supposed to work then?
Now I have to read because it's quite a lot of text. So the certificate is based on an elaborate set of criteria that takes into account international standards in publishing. This is the set of criteria that open access publication services need to fulfill, deal with visibility of the service, guidelines and policies, support of authors and publishers, legal aspects, information security, indexing and interfaces, open metrics, long-term availability and open access, OAI interface, and requirements. This is the list, right?
Okay, comprehensive, yeah. And what open access services does it exactly refer to?
So the DINI certificate is meant for and awarded to individual publication services like repositories, things we call multifunctional systems, that is repositories containing also metadata and open data and so on, but also for open access publication, open access journals. dumbstruck. Sorry.
Okay, that sounds appealing for different communities. And for services that cannot fulfill all the criteria, the catalog of criteria of the DINI certificate offers guidance on implementation, a state-of-the-art publication service.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And what's best, also hosting services like journal hosting services can obtain a pre-certification. This pre-certification ensures that all the services that are operated by this hosting service, for example, meets certain minimum requirements, so they are DINI ready.
Oh, great idea. And not much work left for the, let's say, open access journal editors to apply for certification then.
True.
Who? And it is said that DINI certificate is part of the so-called DINIverse.
Yeah, it sounds gigantic, right? But that's a sort of comprehensive ecosystem for with tools and measurements that supports the effectiveness of the certificate.
Sounds like a good concept. So in brief, what is notable about this open access quality seal?
So the DINI certificate is a genuinely community-led and community-owned product. You have heard this quite several times before here at this conference. DINI manages to organize this community in a very efficient way. So the proof is since 2004, more than 20 years, this catalog of criteria is revised every third year, and it's quite efficient. And information experts update the catalog of criteria to account current requirements and development for open access publication services. And that means it really meets community needs and also gains relevance through the years.
Okay, so the DINI certificate is a sort of de facto standard, at least for German institutional publishers. DINI has profound experience with the community-born product and now how to maintain quality and make it sustainable. That's it. You have to say. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have to say.
No.
That's it.
Me again. Yeah. And DINI knows about the pitfalls of maintaining such a seal and how to avoid them. And surely you know how to organize the review process in a sustainable and efficient way.
Yes, the review is carried out by information experts of the community and is based on profound experience with all aspects of the certification project. So what can we give to this event here?
Yeah, we like to share our experience concerning maintaining a community-owned product that proved truly sustainable. So the DINI certificate is available also in English. And organizing the service according to community needs and keep it fresh, organizing its review by the community efficiently.
So we'd like to discuss with you our thoughts on a probable Diamond Open Access certificate. Let's talk.
Yeah, please feel invited.
Thank you.
Welcome to the DINIverse. Does everyone wants to connect to the DINIverse? Any questions? Wow.
Yeah.
No questions open. Seems to be a very good talk. If there are no, yeah.
Thank you.
Just concerning your last remark about Diamond Open Access, so for the moment it's a general Open Access certificate, right?
Yes, for the moment it's general open access, but as we say, the catalog of criteria is revised every third year, and the last certificate is freshly out now since September, and we also honored Diamond Open Access. We connect with ZDOA, that is the German National Capacity Center, in order to work together. This is also why we are here.
Thank you. There's no other question. Maybe Toby, great.
One quick one, maybe. Whom can we reach out to if we wanted to take that certificate or get any information? Would that be the two of you, or is there an info box we can reach out?
So we are Legion. Please come to the poster and just check on the QR code, and you get all the information you need.
And you forgot to ask, what about books, Toby? Okay. But maybe are there any other questions? Maybe I have a question. It's serious a question. It's not just a dummy question because there are only 2 questions. Do you have any international role models or any interfaces to international discourses about similar certificates in other countries? Maybe it's just a kind of German thing. This DINI certificate.
Well, our colleague Thomas last year traveled to the PubMed and also talked about the DINI certificate, and we noticed this kind of certificate is quite unique, the combination of technical requirements and organizational requirements. So this is also why we like to talk to other representatives from other countries, because maybe there are ideas like this, but so far we haven't learned about them. We'd love to.
So it's the right place here, the right way to present it at an international conference. Thank you so much. Okay, the next talk is from Toby Steiner. What about books? Toby, your poster is titled Open Access, Open Metadata, Open Archiving, How to Liberate Metadata Flows Across the Open Access Book Landscape by Toby Steiner. Toby Steiner, you are COO of Tooth Open Metadata. That's a non-profit community-led metadata management and dissemination platform, and it's based in Cambridge, actually. You are also involved in the Copen Open Book Future Project, and you coordinate the Opera's open infrastructure for open access book working group. That are your functions. Toby, nice to have you here.
All right. Thank you very much, Malte, for the introduction. As you can tell, I brought paper for my notes. I'm a humanist by training, so that's old legacies die hard. So all in all, what I wanted to present today, as compared to a presentation that I'll be giving tomorrow around open or working within open infrastructure collaborations, this one here is focused more on the technical side of things. And so the platform that we've developed within the Copen project, as Malte briefly alluded to, Toad Open Metadata is a non-profit that's registered in the UK, in Cambridge, and we're dedicated to advancing open access publishing and supporting the scholarly community, really. So we provide innovative open metadata management and distribution solutions tailored to tackle the problems of getting open access works into the book supply chain. So you might ask, what kind of problems did we come across that we wanted to solve with this platform? As Malte has alluded to, this platform has evolved out of the first phase of a larger international project called Copen. And with that project, we really looked at the needs and requirements that very small scholarly publishers are facing vis-a-vis the larger open books ecosystem and supply chain. And we discovered that there are a couple of problems that are quite distinct to book publishing that especially small publishers face. One of them is that small to medium-sized scholarly or library-based open access publishers often struggle with metadata management and dissemination because just of a lack of knowledge and capacity. They also struggle to host publishers' own websites and catalogs, so often running WordPress sites, for example, when you think of very small publishers that are just putting their books on WordPress, really. Also, archiving of books is a major issue that publishers usually don't have a clue of how to deal with, really. Then when it comes to dissemination, the book space as compared to journals is much more complex. So if you look into, if I see there's a couple of book publishers in the audience here, you might well certify to these complexities when we talk about different metadata standards such as Onyx, MARC, KBART, Crossref XML if you want to send your data onto Crossref to register DOIs, etc., etc., etc. And covering all of these different niche metadata requirements, publishers usually just go back to their computer and deal with lots of spreadsheets. So Excel is your friend usually when you are a small publisher. You're hacking away in different tables, collecting data, trying to make sense of these different standards that platforms are putting out there. Also, if you're a small publisher and you're trying to disseminate your data, you will find that commercial solutions are very expensive because they are usually catering to the big ones, so Elsevier, Springer Nature, and the larger commercials that can just throw money at things. A luxury that small publishers don't have, really. Commercial systems usually tend not to be really tailored to open access outputs because, as it says in the name, they are focused on commercial publishing. So it's really when we think about open access publishing of books, and this is a whole vast landscape really of work that hadn't previously really been covered. Also, we find that if commercial, like vendors of metadata, produce metadata for open access books, the quality of those books basically is suboptimal, to say the least. And also those open access books, metadata exports, then are not necessarily released under an open license themselves, speaking to open data needs, so you can't really reuse the data that's produced. And I'm just looking at like OCLC's WorldCat, for example, where you have a closed system where you can't get data out of really. And so all of these these conundra really that publishers have been dealing with on their own have led us to develop this kind of open platform. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes here. But and this platform really is built around like fully open standards in a variety of aspects. So the software itself is fully open source. There is a hosted instance that we host at toad.pub where publishers can sign up to, but you're also welcome to take the software and run it on your own if you wanted to. That's the beauty of open source. Toad is made for open access titles, but it also enables publishers to open up their metadata for closed access titles. So if you have a backlist that you haven't opened into open access yet, you can still make the metadata available openly under CC0. Also, what we've built into the platform is that all data that will be entered into the platform will automatically be released in an open way. So CC0 is the way here for open data. So there's no basically turning back once you've put into your data into Toad. And I kind of make that sound like a bad thing, but actually that's good. Also, what we found, as I alluded to with the Excel spreadsheet heckling, is that Toad will also take away the hassle of creating these different output formats. So you have just one platform where you enter your data once, and then the system will generate different flavors of Onyx, of Mark, of KBART, Crossref XML, and other formats out of the on the fly, just out of the system, and you can use that on your own via the self-service platform, and all of that is available for free. At the moment, we are working with more than 75 publishers internationally, a couple of those listed up here on the poster. And the beauty of open data is then that once it's open, it can actually flow into other systems. And that's what we're trying to, or have tried to visualize with that poster here. So once the data is available in the Toad database, it can directly flow into or work with integrations, for example, with PKPs of Monographs Press. There is a bridge that we have developed together with Lepidus, which is a software company who is working closely with PKP, who have developed this plugin. There's also the direct way into usage data that can be reported within the Operation Metrics service, which itself is an open system. We can integrate persistent identifiers, so really working towards taking up good metadata practice for open access books. Those can be directly integrated with the system. Then, as you see on the bottom right, you can also take care of archiving of your books, which we have integrated as a workflow, because once the data is existing in Toad, you can plug this into many different other platforms out there, including archiving. And as it says on the left bottom corner, we also have integrations ready for publishers that can choose to take Toad services for dissemination, which will mean that we will basically take care of disseminating all the open access titles that you have recorded in the platform and send those onto those myriad platforms that are listed up there. So JSTOR, Project Muse, EOAB, OAPN, EBSCO, OCLC, ProQuest, etc. So you get the gist, I think. And in a nutshell, that's all that I have to say about the platform itself. There's going to be more about other work we're doing tomorrow, but that's that.
Thank you, Toby. Once the data has flown, it's not easy to catch. Thank you very much, Toby. Are there any questions? We have time left for only one question, but Ante Jussi.
Yeah, thanks. I have a question about like the long-term sustainability of the platform. What's the situation like? How well founded are you at the moment? I think the service is great, and I wonder why we don't actually have something similar with articles, because this model could work there as well. But if you think like 10 years forward, do you see a stable future for the service?
I'm going out on a leg here to say, I think, yes, there is a stable future. This is always, of course, in the eye of the beholder, coming out of a project and then moving into like a self-sustaining phase. Our participation in the COPIM Open Book Futures project actually had as a core remit to enable us to establish a business model that would put us on our own 2 feet, and we are on a good way there, really. So, as I said, the 75 publishers that are using the system already, that has extended or exceeded our expectations, really. There's always more publishers, of course, that could sign up to the additional services that we are offering, because that's basically how we sustain the free self-service platform. So that, in a way, is a catch-22. We need to convince publishers that actually it's good to take up those additional services, because it will save resources at the publisher's end, but also will help maintain the free provision of open data that we provide with the platform. But overall, I think it's looking quite positive, and we are participating in a number of projects that I can talk about more tomorrow, maybe as a teaser, that will also ensure that the platform will stay online for longer than the end of the current project.
Thank you. Thank you, Toby. Yes, and please visit the poster and the poster show. This poster and all other posters are displayed on the poster walls in the conference venue. Matthias Franczak is the next presenter here. Matthias, nice to have you here. Who are you actually? There you are. Okay. I have just a few words to introduce you. You are from the Institute of Literary Research of the Polish Academy of Sciences. And yes, your poster is in the next slot, Community Empowerment, and it's called Empowering Communities for Diamond Open Access, the Polish Experience and the Role of Skiros in Shaping Future Frameworks. A warm applause for you, Matthias. Hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. I work at the Institute of Literary Research of the Polish Academy of Sciences. I have been involved in many open access projects, also once dealing with Diamond Open Access, like Diamas, and I'm pleased to share with you. It's a little small font, but you will see the full poster at the end of the whole. I'm pleased to share with you some insights into the Polish experience with Diamond Open Access and the role of the Skyros project in shaping future frameworks for scholarly communication. So, moving to Diamond Open Access in Poland, Poland represents a really interesting case when it comes to Diamond Open Access, especially in humanities and social sciences. According to the Diamas survey from 2023, there are more than 300 institutional publishing entities in Poland, and about 60% operates under the Diamond Open Access model. So indeed, Diamond Open Access model in Poland is not a marginal one. It is expected to remain a mainstream form of scholarly communication in SSH. Of course, there are many challenges, lack of legal recognition, difficulties in securing sustainable funding, and the need for stronger infrastructures. So to address these issues, the Operas PL consortium has been established. It is the Polish node of the European Operas infrastructure, and it brings together academic and research institutions to strengthen non-profit publishing. A part of our activities is linking national efforts to the European projects such as Craftaway or Diamas or Operas Plus, to name a few. So moving to the Skyros project, it is a collaborative project. Against this background that I briefly showed, this project stands for, the acronym Skyros stands for Strategic Collaboration for Interdisciplinary Research on Open Science. And our project is funded by Polish National Agency for Academic Exchange. It is coordinated by the Institute of Literary Research, IBL-PAN, based in Warsaw, and it brings together partners from Italy, France, Germany, Finland, Portugal, and Luxembourg. So in other words, it is a truly collaborative international network. And the project aims to build a sustainable network for cooperation in the Operas framework, develop diverse and interdisciplinary research on open science, provide opportunities for researchers and PhD students through study visits, workshops, and joint projects, and promote the adoption of open science practices around SSH. So within the project, we have 3 research domains, and the whole work is organized around these domains, which are theory of open science, exploring the philosophical and ethical foundations of open science, its evolution and its significance for the SSH. Second one is practice of open science, examining implementation, for example, multilingualism in scholarly communication, barriers to participation and case studies of successful practices. And last but not least, infrastructure of open science, focusing on fair data, sustainable funding, institutional policies, and digital tools that support openness. Moving on to activities and outputs, the project will be highly active and collaborative. It is already. We are organizing study visits, workshops, and joint research, and we experiment with innovative dissemination formats. We run an open research notebook and a podcast series. We aim to publish around 20 blog posts and 12 podcast episodes. We are somewhere in the middle of it. And in addition, our researchers involved in Skyrus project will present their work at international conferences. One of them will be the final conference next year in May in Poland, in Warsaw. So the idea is to transform theoretical insights into practical guidance for researchers and institutions. And why is this relevant for Diamond Open Access? Because a sustainable publishing ecosystem cannot exist without open science as a daily practice. Diamond OA and open science go hand in hand. They are both about community, transparency, equity, and long-term sustainability. So through Skyrus project, we will contribute to building framework that connects scholarly-led publishing with open collaborative research practices, both in Poland and across Europe. Let me finish with two key points. One is collaboration. Skyrus brings together institutions across countries and disciplines, and this cooperation is essential for the future of Diamond Open Access. And practice, we learn from initiatives like Craft OA and integrate these experiences into our own work so that the Polish model of Diamond OA can become part of a broader European infrastructure. Thank you very much, and I invite you to come and see our poster and ask questions there, and here as well if we have some time. Thank you.
You can stay here. Yes, questions to the project and the poster.
Hi, thanks for your talk. You concentrate on social science and humanities. Is there any other discipline that maybe comes to you or your colleagues and asks for help, maybe? Because it's a good starting point to really reach the researchers.
Yeah, we focus on SSH because we are the Institute of Literary Research, but within this project, actually you can see the logos are really small, but we, for the first time, we wanted to collaborate with renowned institutions also from other domains like Technical University in Munich or CSIL in Milan or Hanken School of Economics. So we focus on SSH, but we try to work with other institutions and to learn about what they do and how can we adapt some solutions for the SSH, but for us it's mainly social sciences and humanities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Would be great if you could just add very brief questions because we are a bit out of time, and short answer, please.
All right, I'll try to be quick. Your manifesto, you say, calls for systemic support for Diamond OA and sustainable funding. What's your idea about funding for Diamond OA in Poland?
Excuse me, could you...
sorry, I was too quick maybe. In your manifesto that you have in your poster on the right side, you call for systematic support and sustainable funding for non-profit platforms. How does funding work? What's the idea there?
Well, it's a manifesto, so we noted down, we thought of the most important issues for open humanities in Poland in general, and it's a manifesto for the ministry. We don't have particular solutions, but we just ask for taking it into consideration, like how can the state, how can the ministry support us with the funding? But these are just the points that we highlight as the main issues for Diamond Open Access in Poland. So there are no answers for that yet, sorry.
Thank you so much. And greets to Gabriela and Maciej, who are also part of the project. Okay, so it's a pleasure for me to introduce Julep. Hi. Julep, okay, you have a presentation, as I can see here now. Yes, Julep, you are information technology professional with experience in software development, in infrastructure architecture, and busy at the TIB. Nice to have you here. And yeah, welcome.
Hi, everybody. My throat is a little bit broken, therefore you will hear me a little bit different today. Yeah, today I'm going to talk about metadata integrity with using XML workflows, especially in a context with Craft-OA project, and also looking at actual requirements of the open publishing. First, I will give a very basic introduction to XML. For most of you already know, but yeah, XML standards. Two standards we will be talking about, JATS and TEI, and general workflows. And then we will present two practically plugins we wrote for OJS to do these kind of validations, and then general validation and transformation practices used in publishing houses. And later I will give you some ideas that we learned and that you can also apply in your publication workflows. Yeah, most of you know you will need some kind of standards for having structured metadata, and indexing services, search providers, they need this kind of data, and also standard then we have to somehow provide. The problem, inconsistent metadata, everybody knows. Most of the metadata is inconsistent. You have either you are manually editing them and you have to make them more quality control, and the real problem is practically they don't scale as we want, and we will need so much different formats for different services, and that makes our work very harder. As I already mentioned, there are two established XML standards in publishing. One is JATS, it's mostly for article publishing, and there's also one BITS, which is not mentioned here, for books. And the TEI is mostly used in humanities. It's a very big schema, and that is also present. Why do we use XML? We need some kind of standard which is practically structured, and we will have that has to be machine readable, and we have to have interoperability different through all these systems. And we have taken XML, and somebody would also argue why we can also take the newer formats like JSON or something. Yeah, a very general workflow in XML would look like this. You will have your manuscript submission, then you will have some kind of conversion process, then the validation comes, then comes enhancement, quality checks, and this from 3 to 5 you can do multiple times. Mostly we are doing that, and then you will publish, and then it will be deposited in a long time archiving system or a indexing system, or in multiple of those. Yeah, for JATS and TEI conversion funded to the Craft-OA project, TIP and Open Edition, we have both collaborated in this, and we have written a OJS plugin for converting between TEI and JATS. And this plugin is not yet fully, we have not done so advertisement for that. Later in this slide, you will also have the links for that practically. And it can just take a JATS file and convert to TEI, and if you can take a TEI and you can convert to JATS. And what is not mentioned here, our partners from Lodel, they have also done this for their system. For Lodel, practically, they can also take JATS and TEI. And for this conversion, we use Metopaste style sheets, already available tool, which just have XSLT style sheets, and that we use for that plugins. Yeah, what are the technical features? It's bidirectional conversion without losing any kind of tags or metadata. It's OJS plugin currently, and supports all the standard versions, 3.3, 3.5, 3.4, or the newest version 3.5 also. Yeah, it's extensible. The plugin, we have tried to do it as flexible as possible, that you can not only use these XML formats and in future other formats. And somebody who want to use it for books can just extend it and use for bits. and it's XSLT based. This is a technological term and technological conversion format, which is very easy. And it's you can use it in your APIs, which is available in OJS, and also for Lodel, they have also this kind of thing. OAE interface is one of the popular, and you can just use that and you can disseminate using the OAE interface. And in the future also for REST interface. Currently under this name, you can download this plugin. Yeah, some use cases. You can use it for multi-platform publishing. If you want to publish a TEI in your OJS, why not? Take the plugin, convert into JATS, and you can publish it. And interoperability and format migration for those kind of specific use cases you can use, but also for other use cases. Yeah, but then we have another plugin we have written. It is for metadata validation. That means we can set before we publish which kind of services this journal would use. Currently, we have implemented for DOAJ and OpenAir. That means if we activate the plugin for these kind of services, then you cannot publish until this metadata is correct. Yeah, we have been a little bit strict there. And also we have let this plugin also the possibility to add any kind of services. I'm going to, then I will go and you can have a look later about this. Currently we are validating for DOAJ, for example, this kind of metadata, and the plugin can be downloaded there. So I will go a little bit fast here. This is, the process. Yeah, the benefits may be important, like what you will have from using these kind of plugins. You will have the improved quality, compliance assurance, efficiency, saving time. I think most of the important thing. But we have structural integrity using our quality assurance checks. You will have metadata completeness. Yeah, you will have better quality as a whole. Yeah, you will gain your efficiency. Again, automation will reduce manual metadata entry. You will have consistent metadata. Your article will be more visible, and all those benefits that come with that. Yeah, that I will just skip, and I will just do like some best practices, what we can recommend from using, validate early as possible, and automate repetitive tasks as much as possible. And if you have taken decisions, document them, do regular audits, stay current with the actual standards, try to make your processes as actual as possible. Yeah, community engagement. That I will just let, and I will only further. Try to use this kind of plugins in OJS. It is very easy to have like plugins to do smaller tasks that will automate them. I would recommend like doing smaller things at once and then making the bigger picture later than trying to do all conversion processes all together, and invest your time a little bit on the automation. Yeah, that is actually the benefits for stakeholders. And with that, I will finish my presentation. If you have questions, so I'm already over the time maybe.
Yeah, thank you, Tulip. Please keep the microphone because, yes, are there any questions, Tulip? We'll be happy to answer.
Maybe just one tiny question about the XML converter, which goes from Word to the XML. How's the quality from your experience, and how much work is in the correction afterwards?
It's a very difficult question. We are using the PKP docx converter, and it is not perfect, to be honest. For the references, it's very big issue. We are trying to tackle it in a different way than that. If you like, later we can discuss about that. Specifically, we have a little bit other idea how it can be done. But generally, for the images, for getting, smaller tables it works, but complex tables no. Some part of the MathML is working. Yeah, there is a lot to do in footnotes. At least it works most of the time. Yeah, the references is the biggest headache, which takes time and which also stops people using XML workflows. That is where we are working.
Thank you. Thank you, Dulip. Okay. Thanks a lot, Dulip, for this presentation. Okay, the bells are ringing. That means that we have to hurry up. The next one is also a very short presentation, I think. Don't know why, but things happen. And it's presented by Valeria Ardisone from she's IAM Solution Manager at the European Grid Infrastructure. And she has worked as a project manager, cloud and grid computing specialist, training manager, and researcher. Valeria, here you are. Nice to have you here. You're welcome. Hi.
Good afternoon. So in this presentation, I will talk about the role of authentication and authorization in the European Open Science Cloud, named EOSC, and focusing especially on how a domain such as social science and humanities may benefit. I will also present a concrete proof of concept that from the Craftway project, showing how EOSC users could log in via the single sign-on into open journal systems using a standard protocol like, for example, OEDC. So let me begin with some context on EOSC, and then I dive into the architecture and the challenges. So to set the stage, EOSC aims to be a federated environment, so to which research infrastructures, dataset, tools, workflow, we can interoperate and be available across Europe. So in the EOSC model, individual institution or organization become members of a node, of a EOSC node. And the node can be thematic node or national node or regional node, and the services are onboarded via those nodes. So for community in social science and humanities, often their resources, like for example, the digital tools or the archive dataset and publishing platforms are spread across different organizations, institutions with variable identity and access management systems. So as you can imagine how a robust authentication and authorization infrastructure is fundamental in order to allow users to move seamlessly between services, avoid duplicate credentials, and also promote collaboration. So let me explain what is the basic of authentication and authorization matters in general. So the authorization are foundational in any multi-service environment, not only in EOSC, but in any distributed systems. Authentication is the process that verify the identity of a users or a systems. So essentially is asking who is this? While the authorization is the mechanism that takes this identity and determines what is this identity allowed to do. So with that in mind, in a federated environment, what we want is that the users is authenticated once and then is authorized to access to many services. This is what we call single sign-on. And we want also that's consistent and absolutely clear policy are put in place because we want to define which is the user are supposed to be, under what condition he is authorized to access a specific services. But also we want traceability of the user activity, we want logging, and also we want revocation process in case of problems. So all of these things are fundamental part of the authentication and authorization infrastructure that we manage. The challenge that we have found in social science and humanities, in particular for the area of my domain, so the authentication and authorization that are emerged during this work within the CraftOA project are listed here. And essentially, I explain a bit about it because from our point of view, technical point of view, but these slides will not be so technical, I promise. So the institution often use heterogeneous identity ecosystems. So for us means that bringing them into a federation cannot be trivial. And also the attribute harmonization is difficult because what does a researcher, editor, or archivist means consistently from different institutions? What we need is to have a vocabulary or a role ontologies for within this federation environment. Because much work involves sensitive or personal data, privacy, consent, and also data protection are of high concern. Getting institution release attribute is also a problem sometimes, or a governance and legal issues, because the attribute of the users, like for example affiliation or members, depends from each institution policies. And smaller institutions, for example, archives or libraries, may have limited technical resources, so the entry-level barrier should be very, very low. The user experience must remain smooth. So if login is cumbersome, user will resist. And finally, governance and trust level. The federation must define assurance level. So this means, for example, how strongly authenticated is this identity, and services must decide which level of this assurance is acceptable, because this is an important part of the interaction. So, the EOSC-AI Architecture 2025 is a key deliverable from the new EOSC Association Interoperability Framework, and it aims to provide technical interoperable guidelines on how candidate EOSC node can be connected to the EOSC-AI Federation. From the start, two important objective drive the architecture to enable the single sign-on across the first wave of the EOSC node, the candidate nodes, and also enable the workflow, distributed workflow that may span services on different nodes. And based on that, these are the key design principles of the architecture. Define the minimal set of requirements, keep component configuration as simple as possible, and also rely on current and well-adopted standard, protocol standard. This is the components in the EOSC-AI ecosystems, and that are essentially the identity providers, so institution or trusted providers that authenticate users, attribute source, the attribute providers that holding information about users, service providers, so essentially the EOSC services that require authentication and authorization, the main authentication and authorization infrastructure proxy that mediate between service provider and the federation, and helping to offload the complexity from that integration, protocol stack, and trust and metadata consent, who trust, for example, whom, and metadata about identity provider and service provider to maintain the circle of trust active. The proof of concept show the single sign-on. The proof of concept, it is the last slide, no problems. This proof of concept demonstrates the viability of integrating publishing platform or open journal systems into a federated AI ecosystems such as EOSC. So here there are the 6 steps that we follow during the proof of concept, and we essentially implement the same actors that I described you before in that specific real use cases. First steps, the OJS instance is configured as a service provider, trusting the EGI check-in identity proxy. Then a user requests access to the journal. They are redirected to the IDP proxy for authentication. After successful authentication, the IDP returns a token and a set of a user attribute, like for example, roles, affiliation, and membership. And the OJS must map those attributes into its internal user roles. So for example, authors, editors, reviewers, and so on, and grant or deny based on the accord, the agreement. And the single sign-on flow also manages consents of the users, attribute filtering, logout, fallback, and so on. The integration also logs user activity, audit trails, and ensures secure and revocate access. Lesson learned, and of course, what the open issues that are a lot, but I will resume. First of all, the proof of concept gives strong confidence that IOSC, that federation identity for publishing a platform is feasible and beneficial for that domain. We engaged with Pilot Journal platform to test the workflow. So everything was released. Also, the user experience was fine. And the feedback collected will refine integration best practice. What are the open issues? Are attribute mismatch and semantics, consent, privacy, data protection, and also the IOSC AI that evolves, so means that new protocols will become available and mandatory in the IOSC AI ecosystem. So we have to evolve also the integration, but is of course part of the activity of technical work. And that's it from my side.
Thank you, Valeria. Okay. I'm afraid we are running out of time a bit. That's why I think it would be better to ask the question during the next break. And I would strongly recommend to visit the corresponding poster and the poster show. Thank you, Valeria. Maxime, a very, very short introduction, technical manager of Aporas. Maxime, and last but not least, yes, the last slides, I guess, yes. The last presentation for today. Maxime, the floor is yours, and yeah, welcome.
Hello. So I basically have 4 minutes, I guess, till the Craftway highlights. And Craftway, are they here or okay, next door? So yeah, I'll try to be as fast as possible. So well. Yeah, I wanted to present Opera's metric service, which will eventually be probably integrated also with TOT metadata, which we just heard from Toby. So what is metrics? Metrics is a quantitative data used to describe the performance, usage, and influence of scholarly works. So you can see that different actors are interested at gathering metrics, publishers, authors, distribution platforms, research institutions, and so on. There are two types of challenges. There is, I would say, there are technical challenges, which is data fragmentation, quality of the data, and so on. But also there are ethical challenges. And as you might know, there are equity issues. Researchers from underrepresented regions, languages are disadvantaged, and we've heard that in the previous presentation of UI. In the Latin America, which is not actually, for many people, is not affordable. There is context blindness and so on, and transparency also. So we offer a service which is open source and which basically consists of 3 parts, 3 pieces, so to say. We have we have a distribution platform where the driver gets information from. It draws information, gets it to the publisher platform, and then transfers this to the metrics core database. And then the widget, which is installed on the publisher platform, again, withdraws information from the metrics database. So the process is 3-step. I won't go into details here. So you see that there are different distributor platform supported, and also, yeah, there are some details how it goes, because you have to map different types of URIs here, DOIs, because maybe some publications don't have DOIs. So there is a mapping process which takes place, and then it's all stored in the core metrics database, and then enriched with alternatives metrics. The read API is free, so when the display widget on the publisher platform gets the data, this information is free, but you have to pay for writing the data. So yeah. Okay, that's kind of a small preview how it's displayed after this, and you can take a look. Actually, you can click. I think the slides will be available after the conference, so you can click on the link and you can see how it works live. So yeah, the advantages of Opera's metrics collection of Opera's metrics service is diverse data collection. So you have tons of different sources. It's also types of different measures, different types of metrics is collected. We have a centrally managed database, which is free to read. It's open source. It's based on open source principles. There is a transparent processing. There is a widget, which is also free, which everyone can install. And it's community driven, because it's also a result of one of the projects, one of the European projects. Yeah, that's it. I think I was fast enough. If you have questions, please contact. Just come up and ask me, or you can write to technical support at operaseu.org, and we'll be happy to answer all your questions. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Maxime. Thank you, Maxime. What a rough ride through the topic. Thank you all for being here at the first lightning talk show at our conference. Was a pleasure for me, and I hope all of you. Thank you to the audience for all the questions, and of course, thank you, presenters, for presenting the posters and the slides to the corresponding posters. Now there's a follow-up slot in the Alfred Hessel Hall. The draft open access highlights will be presented, and then I hope to see you all at dinner tonight. Have a nice day. Thank you for coming.